Welcome to another episode of the Bottom of the Stream Movie Show. My name is Adam.
My name's Nick. Welcome back aboard the Streamboat as we continue our never-ending search for hidden gems at the bottom of the Netflix stream.
We do indeed, and the stream this week has taken us to Spain.
It has.
Back to Spain. We like Spain.
Yeah.
We've been to Spain a few times. They tend to do well on the show. And it's taken us to a horror movie.
Yes, it has.
Spanish horror this week. And the movie that is called Don't Listen. It's from 2020. It's an 18. It runs for 1 hour and 37 minutes and is currently rated at 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb.
Okay.
6.1.
I mean, it will be an interesting way of comparison because that's pretty much what last week's movie
Yeah, similar around there.
Well,
absolutely.
Let's see what happens.
In Spanish, it's called Voces, which I presume translates to voices.
Okay.
Stars a guy called Rodolfo Sancho. Great name. He plays Daniel. Ramon Berea plays Herman. Ana Fernandez plays Ruth. Belen Fabra plays Sarah. And Lucas Bias plays Eric. They're pretty much the only people in it, so I just thought I'd go through all of them. Written by 4 people.
Nice.
Santiago Diaz, Angel Gomez Hernandez, Victor Gadu, and Juan Marino. And directed also by Angel Gomez Hernandez. This is currently his only directorial full-length feature release.
Okay.
He's done a few TV shows, done a few short movies, but this is currently his only full-length movie that's ever been released by him. That's the only thing I really found on IMDb about this movie.
Good.
Do you have a one-word review of Don't Listen?
Killer Villa.
Killer Villa. This is a haunted house movie.
Yeah.
Basically is what it is. That's if you want to push it down to its basics, it's a haunted house movie.
It is.
And it kicks off straight away. Where does this movie start, Nick?
Drones.
Drones.
We love a drone shot.
We love
Lots of drone shots.
Yeah.
Though we're not over the ice like we were last week. This time we are over a scummy swimming pool.
Good choice of words. Very much so. A grim swimming pool.
Which is
a grimming pool.
Yeah, it is brown, full of branches.
Yeah.
And you spot one pop of colour, which is a red ball floating on top
in the water.
Of the water.
And we see a man go and get it out with a net.
He does. He retrieves the ball.
All from the drone shot. And that is the opening shot of the movie.
Yeah. And we see this house or villa.
It's big, Spanish house.
Yeah.
Spanish house. Huh. And we meet Eric for the first time. Eric is the son who lives in this house. And he's talking to I assumed a doctor, and I was correct to assume that.
Yes.
It is.
She is asking Eric, why are you sad?
Yes, why are you sad? Why can't you sleep? And what is troubling you, young Eric?
They've recently moved to this house.
Yes, and it appears like they move quite a lot. They buy a house, do it up, move on.
That is correct.
That's what they do. And Eric explains to the doctor that he can't sleep because the voices wake him up.
They do.
And that he can hear them now.
And he says sometimes they ask me to draw things.
Yes,
yeah.
There's loads of drawings.
It's a creepy kid movie.
Yes. This is a creepy kid first bit of a movie.
Yeah.
The doctor then leaves Eric and goes to talk to his parents. And she says, look, basically, this kid's just got a good imagination.
He said, you move house a lot. It's change of environment. It'll be fine.
He'll be fine. He's probably got a bit of insomnia. You just need to treat him well.
Ride it out.
Basically. And then she gets in her car and leaves. And we go back to Eric, and he can hear some sounds coming from his walkie-talkie.
Oh, there's a lot of static in this movie.
There is. A lot of walkie-talkie shots.
Soundtrack could be rubbish. That's all it
really would. Did you watch the dub or the subtitles?
I watched the subtitles with the original Spanish.
I watched the English dub with the English subtitles.
Okay.
And at not many points in the film did they match up.
Really?
No.
Okay.
It was certainly not subtitles written from the dub, that's for sure. The doctor leaves. Eric hears some noises from his
You might have got more out of it than me then, because if it was quite a rudimentary subtitle.
Well, I put the subtitles on because the first few times you hear the voices, you can't really make out what they're saying.
Yeah.
So I thought the subtitles might help me, but they didn't because they didn't subtitle the voices.
Okay.
The doctor's sitting in her car. She's driving away. Her car radio starts playing up. So it's going loud.
Yeah, she's really faffing with this 8-track, isn't she?
Faffing with an 8-track. That sounds like an 80s rap song. Faffing with an 8-track.
Yeah, it sounds like some terrible band's first single.
Faffing with an 8-track. She's driving along. She's faffing around with this radio. And a fly flies into her ear.
Yes, it does.
And freaks her out a little bit. And then as we as the camera spins back around to her face, her eyes have gone blood red.
Essentially, she's been possessed by
a
this fly.
Yeah. And the fly makes her put her foot down on the accelerator and just drive straight into a tree.
She does.
And the next time we see her, she's very much facially impaled on a branch.
She's kind of choking, and this tree branch has gone through her cheek and into her head.
Not a small branch.
No.
More like a log.
She has been penetrated significantly.
To the point where I was like, there's no way she survived that for even this short time where she's still breathing.
And then we see that back at the house, Eric has drawn a bloody tree.
Yes, a branch with loads of blood.
It's a tree with blood on it. I'm not.
He's drawn a bloody tree. And then we cut back to her, and the fly crawls out of her ear and flies away.
Yeah.
And we hit into the title card.
Yeah. As there's a strong open.
Yeah, it's a very strong open. Not unless you're that doctor, though.
No.
She never gets mentioned. Well, she does get mentioned again. She never comes back, obviously. Daniel is the father of this family, or Danny, as he's known by some people as Danny, some people as Daniel.
Correct.
He finds a nest in the house of flies.
It's a fly hole.
Basically, a hole full of flies.
Why he doesn't tackle this earlier?
Yeah, he leaves it for quite a long time.
A weeping, swarming fly hole under the stairs.
Yeah, and he never really attempts to sort it out.
I'm no DIY expert.
It would have been the first thing I'd have gone to. Because they're everywhere. Even Eric says at one point, "Oh, there's all flies in my fireplace in my room." And I'm like, "Yeah, get rid of these flies, dude. What are you doing? They're like, flies are the easiest thing to get rid of."
He says, I think we've got an infestation.
Yeah. Eric then says to him, "My ball's gone in the pool again. Can you get it out for me again?"
Yeah.
So we see him do that again. Eric then gets sent up for his nightly bath, goes and has a nice bath. And the shower radio, they've got like a shower radio.
Of course.
That clicks on and starts making noises. This is the point where I turn the subtitles on, so I was like, I wonder if I can hear what they're saying, but you can't. They start making noises. And his mum comes in to bathe him. I don't know how old this kid is, like 7, 8-ish.
Yeah.
And the noises instantly stop as soon as she comes in. And his mum notices some marks on his arms.
This was a weird bit.
But
I don't know why it's in there, having watched the rest of the film, because there's a bit of it's not really a payoff.
Yeah.
But there's a bit later. She's like, "Have you been playing with the cats again?" Yeah. And I'm like, "What?
What? We've not even seen any cats.
There's no cats. We haven't seen any cats. Where's Chekhov's cat?"
Yeah. And then Eric says to his mum, "Does Dad hate me?"
Yeah. He says, "Why?" Well, my version said, "Why does Dad hate me?"
Oh, okay. It was Did Dad hate me?
Yeah.
But this will come seconds after they'd been outside playing in the garden and enjoying themselves.
And his dad spent, to us, on camera, more time with Eric than...
Yeah, this is the first time we've already seen them, Mum. And she says, "No, of course he doesn't. What makes you say that?" And she says, "Dad said that to me."
I heard him on the walkie-talkie.
Yeah. That night, they're in bed. Daniel gets woken by a noise.
Oh, but first...
but first. Before that.
Before they go to sleep...
Oh, they do have... Yeah.
The parents are watching a TV show, which is really, really convenient, because it's literally a guy being interviewed about his new book, which is about ghost voices.
I thought it was a YouTube video.
Okay.
So I might give it that. I might give it a pass. But I might be wrong. It might have been a TV show.
Okay.
I thought it seemed to me that Daniel had done some research and was watching it.
Oh, maybe. I didn't pick up on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I should. It never explains that. Okay. I just assumed that's what it was.
I was sitting there going, "This is very convenient."
Yeah.
But yes,
you've got your old school brain on.
The character may have had free choice.
Yeah.
And actually
it's not just
done some work off screen.
The most handy documentary he's ever come across. Yeah, Daniel gets woken by a noise that night when he's in bed, and it is the gate around the pool has come open and is swinging in the wind.
It's a proper squeaky gate.
Yeah, so he goes downstairs, closes the gate, comes back in the house.
How squeaky does a gate have to be to wake you up?
Oh, it'd have to be very squeaky to wake me up.
And I get that they're in the countryside, so it's probably quiet.
Yeah.
Is that enough to wake you up? Once you're awake, it'd be really annoying.
It was quite a long way from the house as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have to be really loud and really annoying. But anyway, it does wake him up. He gets out, he goes to close it, comes back in the house, and he can hear voices on the other walkie-talkie that's been left downstairs.
Yeah.
And he assumes it's Eric talking to him. Then we go into Eric's room, and Eric's awake, and one of his toys has randomly turned itself on.
Oh, that robot. Yeah, it was one of these, like, robot...
Yeah.
And it flashes and walks around, and...
Yeah, that had turned itself on
They
randomly.
use that robot siren as, like, a jump scare a lot in this.
They do. And then when he gets out of bed to turn it off, and he's got like a tarp hanging up in his room,
Yes.
which it gets used quite a lot in the movie, so it's quite a big plot point. His room's being
Yeah,
renovated
but
the same as the rest of the
renovated,
houses. And there's a tarp hanging up. And behind the tarp, you can see some feet.
Yeah.
Behind this tarp. And you can hear like flies and stuff moving about. So he freaks out, as any kid would, as any body would. And he hides under the covers of his bed. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, a big hand grabs his face.
Yes.
And then his dad comes in and rescues him. But I didn't know if it was his dad's hand.
I thought it was his dad who'd come back in, and Eric thought it was a ghost, and that's why he like lashed out at his dad.
It
But
didn't make...
wasn't clear.
I don't
Wasn't
understand why
clear.
his dad would come in, put his hand under and grab his own son's face.
No,
I think it was a good cut of like...
Why did he suddenly stop when he'd been previously? He was outside shouting Eric's name.
Yeah.
And
I think I think the ghostly hand grabbed his face just as the dad pulled the covers off, and that sent the ghost flying. Anyway,
but it was a bit of a confusing edit.
Yeah, and Daniel's hand is now bleeding, so I assume Eric's bit him or something's happened.
Yeah,
to
I'm
his
not really
hand.
sure what happened in the fracas.
The next day, Eric gets expelled from school
Oh yeah.
because he bit his principal. He had a bit of a meltdown at school and bit the guy, and has been expelled.
And then he tells his mum and dad, "Oh, by the way, that doctor, she's dead."
Yeah, because they say, his mum says to him, "Well, the doctor's going to have to come every day now." And he goes, "Mum, that doctor's dead." And they kind of freak out, like, how would he know that? But they check up.
My question is less how would Eric know that, and more,
Why don't the parents?
why don't they know?
Because it happened virtually on their drive.
Yeah.
She'd only just left their house. Yeah. Well, they ring up the, presumably, doctor's office and find out that it is true and that he's dead. And there's no way she's dead. And there's no way Eric could have known.
Yeah.
Unless somebody at school mentioned it, but don't know. It freaks them out a little bit.
They do, however, both agree, mum and dad, that something is up with their freaky kid.
Yes, absolutely. That night, Eric says to his dad, he asks him if he's crazy, and then he says he doesn't really like this house, and he's ready to go on to the next one, because he's just like, his whole life he's just been moving between houses. Yeah. That night, we see another figure behind the tarp in Eric's bedroom, and the pool gate is open again. So Daniel, again, gets out of bed, goes to check it, but when he gets downstairs, the front door is open.
Oh, never good when the front door's open.
When the front door's open. No, it happened in
Mercy.
The front door was open. That didn't end well. Daniel gets his gun because the front door's open. Get a shotgun.
Eric is not in bed.
Yeah, because his mum hears Daniel start shouting for Eric and gets up and goes to check his room, and he's not in bed. And Daniel, I'm really confused by the names in this film because for some reason my brain wanted the dad to be Eric and the son to be Daniel.
Okay.
It just seemed more natural in my head, so it's confusing me. So the dad's Daniel.
Yeah.
When he goes outside, he finds Eric's pajama top lying on the steps.
Oh yeah. He's just gone too hot for this. I'm getting in a pool.
And then he finds Eric in the pool.
Yeah.
Unconscious.
Face down.
Amongst
the branches.
Dead. And Eric is dead. The kid does not last very long in this movie.
They fish him out of the pool, and there's like a figure watching from the upstairs window.
Yeah, there's something watching from the window.
Was surprised at this point. Was not expecting this kid to bite the bullet.
100%. It changed the whole what I thought this movie was going to be, because I thought the creepy kid movie, haunted house movie, they're all the same.
He's lasted a third of the way through this movie, essentially.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I was like, ooh, I did not expect that.
I did not expect it either. I'm with you. Then there's a quick funeral montage just to basically tell us that Eric didn't survive.
Yeah.
Then there's a parents are sad montage.
Very much so.
Ruth packs a bag. She needs to get out of here. She's going to go and stay with her parents.
Understandable. She's going to have a few days. And
Not
she
Ruth.
said,
her name's not Ruth. Her name's Sarah. Ruth's not in it yet.
And Daniel she wants Daniel to come with her.
Yeah.
She's like, come on, let's go. Let's get away from here for a bit.
He wants to go.
He says,
also,
no, I've got to work on this. All our money's tied up here.
The quicker we do it and finish it, the quicker we can get out of here. She doesn't like that. She wants him to come, so she leaves. They leave on bad terms, basically.
Let's talk in a few days.
That night, most of this movie's set at night. Danny watches videos of the day they moved in. So he's got some like home video footage. So he's basically mourning his son by watching videos of him. And he sends Ruth a voice note on her phone, basically apologising for not going with her. telling her everything's going to be okay.
Yeah,
Basically,
he still loves her, all this sort of stuff.
he turns the TV off, and then the TV turns itself back on again on
does.
its own. And he hears some more noises on the walkie-talkie.
And the robot switches on as well.
And the robot switches on again. And he wakes up the next day to his phone ringing. And he's in Eric's bed. He's lying on Eric's bed.
He slept to that.
Yes. And Sarah says to him, I got your voice note, but I couldn't really make out what it was.
Yeah.
There's loads of like screaming and weird noises going on in it. And he's like, what are you talking about? I was in the house on my own. So he goes to listen to it again.
And it does. It cuts out after he says, hi, it's me.
Yeah, and you can hear the voices that we've heard all the way through. He's not heard yet. And then at the very end, it says, Papa, please help. And it's very clear.
Oh, it was. Oh.
Why?
Because on my version.
Okay.
So did you hear it say, Papa, please
Yeah.
help? Oh, because you didn't hear it at this point. And then he has to go and use, because he has to go and use audio software. Because
this is what confused me then, because he goes to use the audio software and then he jumps when he hears it.
Yeah.
But I'd already heard it.
No. So in my version, with the subtitles,
Okay, that's the dub bit.
so he sets up his laptop, because I had a little chuckle, because like, oh right, does he do a podcast on the side? But so he runs the message through this audio software, and he sweetens it. He plays with the buttons a bit, and it's only then when he plays it back do you hear it say, Papa, please help.
That's a dubbing issue then, because in the dub you hear it clear as day. And then when he hears it again through his laptop, he proper freaks out.
Yeah. My version, that was the first time he'd heard it.
Okay, that makes more sense. That is interesting. Yeah, and it's subtitled as well.
Yeah,
it's on the subtitles.
No, mine just says in indistinct voices.
Okay, interesting. That is interesting.
Which is obviously the way it was meant to.
Yeah,
look,
that's the way it should be. That's
I know you're like
the dubs.
Your job is to just dub it, but
that's an error.
That's really making this guy's acting look a bit.
It really is. Yeah.
It's shit.
Then Daniel goes to visit this author guy.
Oh, it was a book signing, yeah.
Yeah, he goes to a book signing. And this guy's an expert on electro voice phenomenon. So exactly what he's just experienced.
Herman Domingo.
Yes. Confused me because he's spelled German. The name's spelled German, but they call him Herman. But they don't use his name till about halfway through.
Well, when we first meet him, he's called Domingo.
Yeah.
And then they start using his first name as they get to know him, which is fine. But
And the very first thing Daniel says to him is, "Are you a fraud, Mr. Domingo?"
Yeah.
And that would put my back up straight away.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the way to
you want
introduce
this guy to help
you,
and this is not the way to go about it.
Yeah. And he says, "No, I'm not. I've been researching this for my entire life. This is what I do. This is what I'm an expert in." And Daniel says to him, "I want you to hear this recording.
Listen to my recording."
He doesn't want to do it. He's like, "No, I've just written a book.
I've got books to sign, dude.
All sorts of shit to do."
He says, "Email it to me."
Yep. And then, so he does. And then in the very next scene, Herman and Ruth, his daughter, heading to Daniel's house.
I think it happened off screen, but I took that he'd agreed to listen to it there and then.
Possibly. But definitely as soon as he heard it, he jumped on a plane or a car or whatever and got to the house as quick as he could.
Yeah, jumped on a car.
So
on top.
He definitely heard something he liked in this recording.
But there's two of them. Herman is bringing his daughter, Ruth.
Yes.
She is his assistant.
She does all the techie stuff and is skeptical to her.
She's a non-believer.
She's a non-believer to Herman's believer. They kind of cancel each other out.
They travel to the house and they both sort of look ominously at the death tree.
Yeah,
because it's still got police tape around it.
They do, yeah, on the way where the doctor died, and then when he gets there, he wants to visit the pool where Eric died.
Yeah,
and they have a conversation, and Herman says, "You know, the afterlife might just be as shit as the real world is."
Yeah,
there's nobody's ever said.
He's like, I can't guarantee I'm going to give you comfort.
Yeah, he might be in pain. He might be in a bad place. Nobody says that the afterlife has to be good just because the world isn't. I thought that was a really interesting take. Yeah. I've never really heard that before. Daniel explains to Herman that Eric could swim. He was a strong swimmer. And he also didn't like the pool and wouldn't go anywhere near it.
Yeah.
That's why he used to get Daniel to get his ball out.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. He would not have come here alone, is what Daniel says. Ruth then starts setting up all the
Gizmos,
audio
gadgets,
equipment, video equipment all around the house, and they start listening. There's a really interesting scene where Herman's in one of the rooms with a audio microphone listening for voices. And Ruth goes out. They've got walkie-talkies. Ruth says to Herman, "You need to get Daniel out of the house because he's interfering with the equipment."
Yeah, I can see him on the
I can see him sitting on Eric's bed in his room. And Herman says, "I can see him sitting outside.
Yeah,
he's not in there."
Good. It was good.
So I thought it was a nice little touch.
Creepy little.
And Ruth freaks out a little bit, and she's like, "You need to go to Eric's room because some shit's in there. Something's in there." So Herman does. He hears some like weird singing upstairs.
Yeah, there's like humming type noises. Isn't there?
So he goes up into Eric's room, and Ruth goes over the radio again. She's like, "Dad, you need to get out of there.
Someone's
right in front of you."
Yeah,
She
but
says
the signal's breaking down.
Yeah,
There's
you can't
a lot
really
of
hear her.
static.
But we can see it on the infrared cameras that there is a figure right in front of Herman,
Yeah.
right in his face. And then Herman nearly gets deafened by a really loud noise
in his earphones. Yeah.
However, when they kind of regroup after this, Ruth's really still not buying it. She's like,
Are you
don't know what I
sure you were
saw."
there alone?
"Yeah, I don't know what I saw, but it wasn't what you think it was." All this.
Yeah, so the three of them watch the thermal camera and they can see this figure in there.
Yeah. And so Herman says, "Look, let's try again tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll leave it for tonight. Try again tomorrow." So they go to bed, and this time we're going to get Herman gets waken up in the night. He gets waken up because he can hear voices, so he goes downstairs to investigate. And
He's woken from a nightmare, isn't
Yes,
he?
he is,
Because we get a jump scare of him waking up.
Yeah. There's quite a lot of jump scares in this. I've not pointed all of them out, but there are quite a few.
Yes, there's a quite a lot.
It very much relies on its jump scares for its horror scenes, that's for sure.
Probably overly, actually.
Yeah.
Because I think there was enough creepiness in this that it could have dialed back a bit on them.
Yeah, there is a lot of them.
Yeah.
And they're obvious when they're coming, and they don't. If you're a horror film veteran, you know they're coming.
Sure.
Anyway, when he gets downstairs, he sees his dead wife in the kitchen. She's cooking some dinner.
Yes,
She's got a knife.
She is.
And she sits him down. She says, "Look, I'm sorry I left you so young," because she died young by the sounds of it. She's still quite a young woman.
They
in this
talk. She
vision.
says she apologises.
Yeah.
Herman apologises. She says, "I'm going to make you your favourite."
Yeah. And then she starts slicing his arm open
Yeah.
with this knife.
She says, "You're coming with me. We'll be together." And yeah, she's slitting his wrist.
She's basically slitting his wrist for him. So Ruth luckily wakes up, goes downstairs, catches her dad,
snaps him out of it.
snaps her,
And
catches him
our
doing it.
perspective shifts, and we see that Herman is slicing his own wrist.
Yeah.
With the knife.
Yeah. Then the next time we see him, he's just got a little
I
bandage on it.
liked how the director portrayed Herman sort of coming to,
Yeah,
because
he's the best actor in this film as well.
I think you're right, and we shifted to his perspective, and everything's got there's literally a fog around him.
Yeah.
And Ruth sort of fades in, and he then snaps back to the real world and
This
looks
fog
down.
just disappears, and then his arms.
Yeah, it was well done, I thought.
It was.
And it was never used again.
No, it really wasn't. In the next time we see him, he's just got a small bandage on his wrist, and he's fine. He's not even been to hospital. In the meantime, Sarah, the wife, remember Sarah?
Yeah, she's gone to stay with her parents.
She gets a phone call in the middle of the night. She gets woken up by a phone call. And who should be ringing her?
Eric.
Eric's ringing her, her dead son. And she said, and the call says, Eric says, "Help me, Mum. That man that Dad's brought here wants to hurt me."
Yeah.
And she says, "Where are you?" And he says, "I'm hiding under my bed, hiding from this man." Then something tries to touch a sleeping German. It's my next note, but it says it's Herman. Herman's asleep.
It watches, the ghost watching
something's
him,
watching
right?
him, and it tries to touch him and wakes him up. Yeah. And then Ruth looks out of her bedroom window the following morning, and what would she see out of the window?
Cat tree.
Cat tree.
This is a tree full of cats that
Hanging.
have been hung from their neck.
Yeah.
It's not been a good couple of weeks for animals
It hasn't.
on this show.
This show has not done well with animals this lately.
Yeah.
And
then I thought back to, Eric had cat scratches, so presumably it's just a load of stray cats knocking around.
which we've never seen though. I was
No,
really
no.
confused by this
Me
scene
too. I was
because
like-
I'm like,
Because this is a tree full of cats. I was like, where have all these cats come from?
yeah, where are all these hanging cats come from, and who's done it? And cats have not been other than that one brief mention. Cats haven't really. You've never seen any, and they've never been mentioned. It really threw me. I was like,
How
This is
did the
weird.
ghost tie the cats up?
yeah, who did this? Did Ruth do it by possession? Was somebody possessed to do it? I
Yeah.
don't know. It's not mentioned again afterwards.
No, it's never cut. This is unlike the cats. This loose end is never tied up.
Yeah, it's really strange.
It's left hanging like the cats.
So Herman and Daniel go out to cut them down and bury all these dead cats. They just dig a hole and start burying.
Yeah, because then I was still confused. I was like, oh, is it a vision? Has she seen a... But no, then they have to actually bury all these cats.
This has genuinely happened. Herman and Daniel are talking about this, and they're like, look, Herman's like, this all might be one big trick. It might not be your son. It might be some other spirit that's trying to trick us. It might all be one big trick.
Domingo, Herman's pretty sure at this point, isn't he? He's like, it's not your son.
Yeah.
Talking to you.
Yeah.
It's just something trying to trick you
There's some
and
sort
reel
of spirit,
you in.
Yeah. Just as they're having this conversation, Sarah comes home, speeds up in her car.
Would have been good information for her to hear.
Yes, would have. But the first thing she sees is Daniel burying a load of dead cats.
Yeah, she's like,
what the fuck is going on here? And then she confronts Herman because as far as she knows, this is the one that Eric doesn't want in the house. Ruth's gone for a walk into town. The only time we're not at the house in this whole movie.
Yeah, and she is like beckoned in through a big door by an old
little
woman.
old lady beckons her in.
She's like, you're the girl from the house.
You're the girl from the House of Voices.
Yeah.
That's what she says. Which is a much better name for this
House
movie.
of Voices.
The House of
Yeah,
Voices.
it is.
It's much better than Don't Listen.
It is. So presumably they've been going around town that we haven't seen, because how does this woman know she's from the house?
Don't know.
We've never seen them leave the house.
We've never seen them leave the house. How do we know? How does this woman know that it's called the House of Voices?
Well,
why are they not warning the people that live there for a start? And again, this woman's never seen again. We never go back into town, and nobody ever refers to it as the House of Voices.
No, because we learn what she's imparted to Ruth from Ruth later on.
Yeah, basically. And she just said, look, don't go back. The voices aren't real. They will trick and deceive you. And then by the time you realise, it's too late.
Yeah.
Sarah goes up to Eric's room to see if he's under the bed. And she does see him.
He's sitting on the floor
playing with that robot toy thing again.
And then he does a creepy snake spider walk under the bed.
Scuttles under the bed is what I've written. And he disappears. When she looks under there, he's not there.
I liked this sequence.
This was possibly the best scene in the film for me. When she looks under the bed, he isn't there. When she looks back up again, there's a pair of feet under the bed. Grim, horrible women's feet.
Manky feet. Manky as Jorg Jorgensen's feet last week.
So, yeah, maybe even more manky. But then she sees the feet climb up onto the bed.
Yeah.
So she slowly looks up onto the bed and there's nothing there. So there's like all this stuff going on in her head.
And then she sort of backs along the floor and she puts her hand on a foot.
Yes.
On the manky foot that's now behind her.
And then something grabs her face again. The hand grabs her on the face.
It was good.
It was
tense. I liked it.
It was a good scene. Whilst this is happening, the others are all downstairs. Ruth, Herman, and Daniel are downstairs.
Herman's like, I've seen some cats hanging before.
Yeah.
Let me consult
my book of
vast
supernatural shit.
Books, a collection of books, and he says this is a classic Middle Ages wind up. It's like if you were living back in the Middle Ages, this is like the equivalent of, I don't know, a prank text.
Yeah,
just hanging a load of cats in a tree. It's a threat.
Yeah,
it's a warning.
It's a warning.
Stay away.
Suddenly, whilst this conversation's happening, a body swings through the window.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I jumped
shit myself
quite high out of my seat.
Yeah, the window smashes and Sarah appears to have hung herself from the upstairs balcony.
She has
swung down and smashed through the window.
Yeah.
Daniel gets to do some proper acting here because he's like, fuck, my wife's now dead as well. She's hanging. He tries to grab her, take her down. And then as she is hanging there, a fly flies out of her ear.
Yeah.
Which we've seen before. The police come, they take the body away, they ask some questions of everybody. Ruth says to Herman, look, we need to get out of here. I want to leave. This is weird. I don't like it.
She says to Herman that she was told by the old lady that the house used to be a courtroom.
Yes.
And basically a load of witches used to be trialed there.
Witch trials.
Yeah.
American horror movie. It's always witch trials. Herman doesn't want to leave. He wants to find out what's going on. He's like, I've waited my whole life for something like this.
Yeah.
The Ruth then says, look, what happened to my mum?
Yeah, that
was weird. Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's Daniel's turn to hear the voices. He hears, I don't think he's heard them yet, or not seen any.
He's back in Eric's room.
He's in Eric's room.
And he
hears the
sees
voices
his wife and dead son.
behind the tarp.
Yeah.
Again. There's no, when he opens the tarp, there's nothing there.
And then the tarp
attacks him.
Yeah. He gets that. Oh, that must have been a fun bit of acting to do.
Yeah, the tarp
Wrestle
suddenly flies at him and he flies
sheet.
back onto the bed covered in this tarp. Ruth starts packing up. She then sees a figure sitting on the bed again.
She's
through the infrared cameras.
She's watching the video.
Oh, is she watching the same video again?
No, she's watching the video from when Sarah leapt out the window.
Correct. She is. She's watching the camera's obviously still set up, so she's trying to see what Sarah did before she jumped.
And
out
there was
the
someone
window.
stood behind her in the window.
Yeah, and she sees her put the noose on and jump out the window, and then an infrared figure comes in front of the camera just as she jumps out the window. And then suddenly, she hears
screaming, shouting,
gunshot.
There's a gunshot.
Daniel is freaking out upstairs. He's got the shotgun. He's kind of going a bit crazy because he's just seen his dead wife and his son.
He's like, I want to know what's happened to my family. I want to know what, I blame myself. Where are they? What's going on? I've just seen them behind a sheet, which then attacked me.
Herman then calms him down and he starts explaining what he thinks has happened. He's like, people have been killed here. They're possibly still here. They might be underground, is what he says. And then Daniel thinks...
He says, we need to put if there's remains here, we need to put them to rest. Have you seen anything weird?
Yes.
And Daniel immediately goes, yeah, there's a massive fly hole by the stairs.
Yeah.
Which I can't believe Herman and Ruth wouldn't have spotted. Because they're good at their job.
Yeah, they are.
In this movie.
Yeah.
But they just walk past that massive fly hole at the bottom of the stairs every time.
Yeah. So Daniel instantly starts knocking the wall down.
Yeah.
And what would we find behind it?
Secret staircase.
Which leads to a secret basement.
Like, not just a basement.
Like a secret...
caverns.
Cavern, yeah. With lots of flies inside.
Yes.
Hence the fly hole.
And
so they go down to investigate.
Yes, many human remains.
Yes, I've written, find a torture chamber, basically.
There's even still the stocks and the cages and...
Yeah, the stretcher boards and things.
Surely this would have been discovered at some point in this
You would think so.
History.
It's been bricked up, but why are there suddenly flies there? It's been hundreds of years. Where have the flies come from? Anyway, it's a film. So German, because it says German in my notes, I keep saying German, apologies. Herman has kind of like a flash and he sees the past, basically. He sees what happened. Yeah. And
there's a woman talking in tongues.
Yes, basically she's a witch. She's being tried in this basement. He comes back round and he's like, she used her voice for evil. All her anger has been locked up in this house forever. We need to burn this body.
He basically says we've got to kill everything with fire.
Yeah, basically. It's like, normally in like a witch movie, you're meant to feel sorry for the witch who's being tried.
Yeah, and help her come to terms with it.
Yeah, this one's like, no way. This woman was genuinely evil.
Yeah.
And we need to get rid. And you see the body's still in a cage in the basement.
With this gaping maw where your mouth used to be.
Its mouth's been cut out, basically. So he says, so they go back upstairs. They get some fuel, petrol, whatever.
Well, I don't know if I missed a bit here or if it was a bit of dodgy editing. Because I was like, where's Daniel gone for the next 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Because I think Herman had said, go and get more petrol. We've not got enough.
Yeah, he got a jerry can full of fuel.
Yeah.
And he said to Daniel, we need more fuel. I'm like, they're only burning one body. What do they need more fuel for?
It was just a bit
he sends him away, basically.
For the three of them to all split up.
Yeah, they didn't need to be here, so he sends him away.
Yeah.
And he says to Ruth, look, if I'm not back in 10 minutes, you need to go. You need to leave, get out of here, because this isn't going to be as easy as...
Also, what's the logic here, though? So let's just pause a minute. Okay. So Herman's going, we've not got enough fuel. Daniel says, right, there's more in the garage.
Yeah.
I'll go and get some.
Yeah.
Then, so they send him off to do that. And then Herman says, right, if I'm not back in 10 minutes to Ruth, leave without me.
Yeah.
So he's still going, his plan is still go and set the whole thing afire.
Yes.
Well, do you know how fires work?
Yeah, I do.
And houses just go on fire.
Yeah.
So why does he need more petrol?
I don't know. I was really confused about why he needed more than one jerry can full of fuel. Because it's one body.
So then I was like, well, was he sending Daniel out of harm's way? But
possibly, but I don't think so.
I didn't get that inference.
Maybe, because I got the impression when he sent Ruth away that he wanted to confront it alone. Because he knew he was going down there for a fight. It wasn't going to be as simple as throw some petrol on his body.
You didn't get anything extra from that from your dubbed version?
I feel like he was trying to say, I want to do this alone, because this is what I've been building my whole life for, to Ruth, but I never got that. But maybe that's what he was saying to Daniel as well.
Yeah.
Maybe that is a translation issue. I don't know. Anyway, so he goes downstairs. He has another flash. He sees the witch being tortured. She's on the stretcher boards.
And they've
torture racks.
there's this. I don't know even how to describe this contraption that they put in her mouth. So it's like,
yeah,
it's like an exploding dildo.
Yeah, it's basically a big claw thing, isn't it? That looks like a dildo that goes in her mouth and pulls her tongue out.
Yeah, but when they press a button, it
expands,
shoots open into like a spidery
yeah
thing that will just
rip your face out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he sees all that happen. He sees the witch being tortured. His torch starts going on and off because it's a horror movie, and
and every time his torch flickers, the shape in front of him gets closer to him.
Closer. And then there's a jump scene there because it attacks him basically. Meanwhile, Ruth's still upstairs. She sees her mum.
So this ghost can be in multiple places.
Yeah.
At once. Yeah, she sees her mum. And her mum says, "I'm quite disappointed at you."
Yeah.
She doesn't say, "Oh, brilliant to see you. You've grown up."
Yeah.
She's like, "You didn't come to my funeral."
Yeah, and she's like, "I was a child."
Yeah, Dad didn't want me to.
Yeah,
come.
we're allowed there.
And the ghost's like, "Come on, hug me, hug me, hug me." And
Ruth's
like,
not buying
I
this.
am not hugging that.
You're not my mum.
You ain't my mum.
Then the witch jump scares her. Basically, it's behind her when she can see it in front of her. And then we have a crash cut to Daniel. There's literally jump scare, boom, straight into Daniel.
Yeah. He's getting
he's in the garage getting more fuel, and the ball, Eric's red ball, rolls towards him under the garage door, and then the witch jump scares him. So basically all three of them are being jump scared by this witch. And then suddenly, straight after the jump scare, Sarah and Eric are there.
Yeah, in front of Daniel again. And they say, "Don't do the fire.
Don't let him do it, Danny.
Because we'll disappear. You won't see us again.
You'll never see us again." And he hugs them.
And the camera pulls back and he's hugging the grotty old witch.
Yeah. Herman is now downstairs covering the remains in fuel. He's managed to break away from whatever was attacking him.
Yeah.
And then Ruth comes down and stabs him.
Yeah, she is possessed. She's got the red eye.
She's got the red eyes, so she stabs him.
And he tells her to fight it. He's saying, "This isn't you.
Don't submit to it. Fight it. Come on, you can do this." And then upstairs, meanwhile, Daniel's covering himself in fuel.
Yes, he
did find the other jerry can. He's also got the red eyes. Herman then
he just punches his daughter
in the face, points the shotgun at the body, fires the shotgun, which obviously sets the remains on fire. You hear screaming, you hear all sorts going on, but Daniel and Ruth both snap out of it quite quickly. The remains have been destroyed, and the witch has gone. Daniel was literally just about to set himself on fire, so he doesn't do that. And then we see a scene of Herman in bed, just asleep.
It's either the next morning or a couple of days later.
Again, he's been patched up by... assume there's a nurse in this house somewhere, because he had his slit wrists bandaged up, and now his stabbed abdomen's been patched up, and he's absolutely fine.
Ruth says, "Dad, now it's time to go."
Yeah.
And he apologises to Ruth.
And he says, I hope whatever we did worked, but we're not sticking around to find out. Let's get out of here. And he does say to Ruth, "Look, I don't know what possessed your mum to do what she did, but something evil was behind what she did."
Yeah.
And he says, "Oh, I've had an email from a priest friend of mine.
Yeah, I've got a next job lined up.
Yeah, we've got the next job lined up. We're going to go and interview a girl who's being possessed for an exorcism. But for now, we need a rest. We'll go on a vacation, and then we'll do that.
And we don't really get the full story of what happened to the mother, other than she did something.
It's one of many, many loose ends in this movie. Daniel, meanwhile, is back in Eric's room again, and he seems to notice for the first time Eric's drawings all over the wall.
Yeah, wall full. They've been there the whole time. We've been in this room
even
a
when
lot.
Eric was alive. Yeah. Most of the movies set in this movie. Most of the movies set in this room. And he looks at all these drawings that Eric's done in his lifetime,
and he sees
they've all come true.
Yeah.
Basically, he sees the bloody branch,
the witch being tortured.
Loads of them have come true. And then he has a kind of flashback because he sees one that he freaks out about and throws on the floor. And he has a flashback, and it turns out he drowned Eric in the swimming pool.
Yeah, he did. He was possessed
by the ghost at the time.
Fly.
Took Eric out of his bed, carried him downstairs kicking and screaming, and held him under in the swimming pool. So then he sits on the edge of the swimming pool, gets his shotgun, and blows his head off.
Yeah, and then we cut to a drawing also on the floor of Eric's bedroom, and it is Daniel with a gun in his head.
Yeah, it is. And there's one next to it of him drowning Eric in the pool.
Yeah.
And that's where the movie ends until your post-credit scene,
Yeah.
which is basically just those two watching The Exorcism on a laptop while they're in hospital.
Yeah. Being excited about
What's he in hospital for? He's been bandaged up twice already.
Gotta get checked out.
Yeah, they're just... It's a really bizarre, unnecessary
Sequel
post-credit scene.
tease
It's a sequel tease, I guess.
of Team Ghost.
Ghost Team.
Yeah.
Herman and Ruth, the unbeatable Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you think of this film, Nick?
I mostly liked it.
Yeah.
I could have done without the ending twist. I think this movie was good enough to not need that twist ending.
It didn't need that twist ending. You're right.
Like, I was okay with him drawing because we already seen he drew the the happenings, but the twist as in his dad was the one who killed him. I did nothing for me.
It didn't.
I think this was strong enough to not need that.
I don't think it works either. The timeline doesn't really work for me either if you try and piece it all back together, but maybe it does. There's something about this movie that I didn't like, and I can't put my finger on what it is. I enjoyed it overall. It's a decent horror movie.
Yeah.
There's some good jump scares. The story's okay. It's a haunted house movie. But something about it just didn't sit right with me, and I'm not sure what it is.
It's patchy.
Yeah,
when
it's
it's
patchy.
good, it's good. It's got some really good scenes in it. But
There's lots of loose ends left open.
yeah, there is. And I don't know. Well, I don't know if we spoke Spanish,
Yes.
would we?
I don't
Would
think
some
so.
of those be tied up? I don't know.
I don't think they would. I genuinely don't think they would.
I think there's a few editing issues here.
Yeah, 100%.
where I'm like, I that's not been explained very well. Like the dead cats weren't explained.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Yeah, something about it just doesn't work for me, and I can't really put my finger on what it is, but
I also think where it's a bit wonky is so when the doctor is impaled on the tree, it's bloody and gory.
yeah, gruesome.
It is gruesome, and then we never see that gruesomeness again in this movie.
True. Yeah, that's right. And that's like the first scene. It's pre-title card.
So it's uneven.
Yeah, it is.
Other gruesome things happen, like the cats and obviously the mum hanging herself, but
there's never like the blood and guts.
Yeah,
and
we
gore
don't see
again.
the blood and guts apart from that, which is whatever, just fine. But it makes it a bit uneven.
Yeah,
for me. The stylistic nature of the movie felt like it changed a couple of times through.
The fly crawling in the ear thing it was never really followed up on. It didn't happen to Daniel when he was possessed. I just don't.
Having said that, I liked the three main performances.
Agreed.
I thought they were pretty good. I think Daniel, Herman, and Ruth were a good trio, and I thought I was generally quite taken by their sort of investigations of this.
Yeah.
I don't know how a ghost shows up on a thermal camera, but at
But
least
it
they
does.
say that in the movie.
Yeah,
But
well,
it's never explained. But
no.
they go, "Oh, that's
that's
it's a
unusual.
ghost.
Yeah, it's a ghost, yeah.
Why would it be hot?
yeah,
Why would you have a hot ghost?" But at least they address it. But it's a cool effect and it's creepy.
yeah. And as a standalone horror movie, it works.
Yeah.
There's good jump scenes. Maybe too many jump scenes. There's some gory bits. There's some witchy bits. There's bits of everything you need. It was really bleak.
It's
The
the
fact-
critical word, bleak. Yes.
The fact
It's
that
quite
all
bleak.
three members of the family are dead by the end of
Yeah.
the movie is bleak.
And I don't think you need that extra bleakness of
No,
Danny topping himself.
no, I don't think you do. You could have had him crying, sitting on the edge of the pool, realizing what he's done. He doesn't need to put a shotgun through his face.
Yeah.
It was too much at the end.
I mean, I don't watch as many horror movies as you, so I feel like I might have liked it a bit more because I just thought it was, I thought it was a decent story.
Yeah, the story's
There was
decent.
Some decent deaths. It was an uneven movie.
Yeah. I mean, I do like a horror movie. I don't watch a lot of ghost movies. The ghost movies don't
Yeah.
really do it for me. We've seen ghost movies on the show before, and they don't tend to do well. I don't know. There's just something there that doesn't sit right with me. I don't
That's
know. what it
fine.
is.
It's allowed to just
Yeah.
not connect
Just
for
doesn't.
whatever
It didn't
reason.
connect. That's a good way of putting it. It
Yeah.
didn't connect with me. Do you want to talk stream table?
Yeah. So, for me, I think
Want me to read through it.
okay. Yeah, you can do that. It's fine.
Currently, number 6 in the stream table is Buddy Games. Number 5 is Freaks, You're One of Us. Number 4 is Mercy. Number 3 is Sweet Girl. Number 2 is Catty Catty. And number 1 is Against the Ice. There's 6 very different movies there. And again, this one's very different again.
I think it's a flawed movie.
Agreed.
I think last week's movie was a flawed movie.
Agreed. They all are.
I think it's really close. I think between this movie, Against the Ice and Catty Catty, I think they're all really close.
I agree. I think they are close. I think it's better than Sweet Girl.
Yeah.
Third.
Yeah.
Catty Catty's another ghost movie.
Yeah.
Out of those 3, it's the worst one.
Do you think?
I think so.
See, I was leaning towards this being the one I've enjoyed the most.
Okay.
But there's barely anything between those top 3. I don't. They're not bad. They're enjoyable, but they've all got flaws.
Yeah, all 6 movies in there are flawed.
Yeah.
I personally would put this one third. Are you saying top then?
Yeah, I think for me,
Oh,
I
that's
enjoyed it
interesting.
more than
Wow,
last
okay.
week's movie.
Wow. It's split the difference.
But not by much. Honest, this is what I'm saying. And same for Catty Catty. We said last week, yeah. There's not much between them. So
Split the difference and put it second then?
yeah,
It's the best way to do it, I think.
it's fine.
Okay. That surprises me. I didn't think you'd be that high on it. But I have no issue with it.
But I'm not that passionate about it either.
No.
It's just
We're still early in the season.
Yeah.
It's still there's still a long way to go in this season yet. Anything? I didn't ask you what the best thing about it was.
I think it's the acting performances of the 3.
I think the guy who played Herman was a standout.
Yeah,
And the other 2 were fine as well.
he was likable. He was really likable. I thought.
I think if I was going to change something about it, I'd maybe make it less bleak. It's very bleak.
I didn't need the twist then.
I didn't need the twist ending. I'm with you. Right, should we pick next week's movie?
Well, we can pick
Oh,
a
yeah.
movie, but
We'll
it's going
pick
to
a
be a
movie.
while.
We forgot to mention this on the wave. We should probably mention
Yeah, totally forgot.
Um,
I'm going on holiday.
Judith Chalmers is going away
I'm
again.
actually going to Spain.
He's going to live in a haunted mansion in Spain. But you're also going for 10 days?
I go for 10 days, yeah.
2 Thursdays, which is our recording day.
Yeah,
So we're going to have 2 weeks off.
yeah. Sorry.
It's fine.
I've not been on a plane for years.
I haven't, to be fair. That's fine. It happens. There's nothing we can do about it. We don't get paid to do this.
No.
So, I might try and put something out while you're away. I might see if I can do release an old episode or
Sure.
something, or I don't know. I might try and put something out while you're away, but I don't know. I've not thought about it yet. But there isn't going to be an episode for 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
So we will let you know on the socials when we will be back, because we haven't really figured it out yet. Because
We forgot to talk about it before we started recording.
We did, and and we forgot to talk about it on the wave as well. But I'll put some details in the Discord. I'll put some details on Twitter and Instagram. And we were going away for a little while, so we need a movie to watch when we get back.
Yeah.
Shall we call on Robin?
Yeah.
Say Ryan then. That's his name.
Let's really work ahead.
Go for it. What do you want?
Less dead animals
Less dead animals.
than the last 2 weeks.
I'll see what I can do. Robin, give us a film. He has picked a movie called The Humans. Any ideas what The Humans is?
None whatsoever.
Okay, would you like to find out?
Yes, please.
The Humans was a movie released in 2021. IMDb described it as a drama.
How long has it been since we've had a movie with one genre attached to it?
One genre. Would you like to know a synopsis?
I really would.
During one evening, the Blake family gathers to celebrate Thanksgiving in a broken down flat newly rented by the daughter and her new man. As the darkness falls, we find they have less to be thankful about.
That's quite a good synopsis.
Hmm.
It's giving me a setting and it's teasing me.
Yeah. It doesn't tell me anything.
Sounds like more of a horror tease
Yeah.
than a drama tease, but that's fine. I'm excited.
Do you want to know who's in it?
Yes, please.
Richard Jenkins,
Okay.
Amy Schumer,
Okay.
and Stephen Yen.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And June Squibb.
Oh, I
She's been
love
on
June
this-
Squibb.
She's been on the show before.
Yeah.
There's actually only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people in it.
Squibbo.
Squibbo's back. We love Squibbo. So yeah, go out and watch The Humans. And how do I do the next bit? Go and watch The Humans. And in the meantime, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd at BOTS_podcast. If you want to drop us an email, our email address is bottomofthestream@gmail.com, and our website is bottomofthestream.com. On our website, you will find every episode we've ever recorded, all the stream tables, loads of other cool stuff, and you can even get some merch if you want to buy a Bottom of the Stream. Nick was not listening to me then and has forgotten what he's going to say.
Football.
Very imaginative.
No, because...
Go on. Because of the ball in...
Yeah, and our brand is kind of red. And
yeah.
we literally could just use that ball and...
Got you. I'll let you off. After you've done all of that, head over to Patreon, patreon.com/bottomofthestream. On there, for £5 a month, you will get early access to the movie show episodes. You'll get loads of other cool little bits and bobs. You'll get exclusive access into a secret area of Discord. You'll get some phone wallpapers. You get a poster that's been designed and is ready to go out. And you will get a wild card, which means you can pick the film we watch. We give Robin the week off. And if you pick the best one of the season, you might win a prize. And then when you've done that, head over to Discord. The Discord is a wonderful group full of wonderful people that will talk to you about anything, have a load of fun, and all sorts of cool stuff goes on in the Discord. We did a watch along. We didn't even mention the watch along. We did a watch along the other week. We've got another one. We do them first Sunday of every month now. So yeah, they come in, and yeah, it's just a cool place to be. The Discord link will be in the bottom of the show notes.
I cannot recommend the Discord enough. You will genuinely make some great friends.
You will.
If you can spare a few minutes, please consider leaving us a review and a rating anywhere you can review and rate podcasts. It really helps get our little podcast in the ears of more people and make more friends. You can do that anywhere you find podcasts: Podbean, Podchaser, Listen Notes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, and for a little bit longer, Stitcher.
Rest in peace, Stitcher. And then when you've done all of that, go out and watch The Humans, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks with a wave, and then at some point in the future with a movie show.
Cheers!
Bye!